Hello everybody, my name is Ilya Budimir. I'm a senior consultant here at FMT. I will start by actually going into the first item on the agenda, and that's really introducing you to SuiteCommerce. So let's first start with looking at NetSuite as a whole unified business solution. As you can see, e-commerce is a big part, or module of e-commerce is a big part of this unified solution. The advantages of having e-commerce solution integrated into NetSuite is the collaboration and the ability to have all users and all entities and all modules and features collaborate together and not have separate silos of information where the integration will be very, very expensive. So essentially all facets of one company would be in one system, and e-commerce or SuiteCommerce is a big part of that environment. So what is SuiteCommerce? Well, SuiteCommerce is really a feature area containing all e-commerce functionality within the NetSuite ecosystem. It includes Site Builder, SuiteCommerce Advanced, and reference implementations. As probably mentioned before, Site Builder can be divided into two functional units, Basic and Advanced. Basic is essentially a very simple e-commerce solution where you have already predefined templates, so you can just deploy them on your website. It interacts with the items, with the customers, and there's a very, very little HTML knowledge required or any programming knowledge required to manage it. Site Builder Advanced is a more advanced option of e-commerce or SuiteCommerce. It gives you the ability to customize forms, to add your Suite script code on different templates, and it gives you way more power. Okay. Now, SuiteCommerce Advanced, and today actually we'll be talking about the reference implementations. But SuiteCommerce Advanced is based on SSP technology that we will be discussing today, and essentially it is used for creating very custom e-commerce solutions. So it leverages the power of Ajax, jQuery, JSON, and SSP applications. And SSP applications are, NetSuite proprietary technologies. So it uses all of the above to create a complex and modern web portals. SuiteCommerce Advanced offers a different approach to website customization from Site Builder, so it's very different from Site Builder. SuiteCommerce Advanced uses service-based architecture where the page is usually static and Ajax calls are used, or JSON is passed as a service. A JSON object is passed as a service, and then developers are able to actually manipulate what they can show on the screen. So it's a very robust and fast solution that helps big businesses. Reference implementations are actually the topic of today's session. They're again based on SSP. Just for you who don't know, this is the SSP stands for Suite Script Server Pages. So these are the HTML pages containing the mix of HTML, JavaScript, and other NetSuite proprietary syntax. SSP is based on Backbone, and we'll talk about that in a second. Now, the reference implementations are essentially bundles that we install, and they use the SSP functionality that was created for SuiteCommerce Advanced to bring Site Builder additional functionality. Okay, a lot of Specifically, a checkout and login section of Site Builder is not very customizable. So NetSuite created reference implementations, which are the layer on top of regular SuiteCommerce or Site Builder solution, to be able to customize the checkout, the cart, and just speed up the whole process of checking out from Site Builder. Okay, so today we'll be talking about reference implementations and reference checkout and my account area. Okay, so we'll go through setup, deployment, and customizations. Okay, so let's jump right away into SSP. So as I said, the SuiteScript server pages are essentially HTML pages with HTML, JavaScript, and other proprietary syntax. As you can see in the screenshot, we have categories and items which are part of a regular site builder that use tag substitution. Tags are site builder terms or snippets of code that you can include in all these pages that are part of the content manager. So we can add, through this tag substitution, we can add code and scripts directly or HTML directly to our items that are within the content manager. With SSP, we have another layer in between where we have new pages that are created with, and they have that extension SSP, and these pages are in a reference checkout example are cart, checkout, login, log out, and register. So the actual SuiteScript server pages are communicating with SuiteScript code, and we can also use tags to communicate directly to content areas that are within our content manager. Okay. In addition to SuiteScript server pages, we also have service files. So SSP communicates with the service files directly through AJAX calls, and service files communicate with the SuiteScript API to give you all the content and show you all the content in real time without refreshing a page. Okay, so let's take a look at the backbone functionality. So the backbone SSP, as I mentioned earlier, uses the Backbone.js. It's a JavaScript model or a structure that NetSuite leverages to create and manage the model of SSP applications. Okay, the model is called MVC, and model is part of your code that retrieves and populates the data. The view is the HTML representation of this model. Okay, views change as the model changes. So an example of the model would be a customer account. That would be a model. It could be a transaction. That would be also a model. It could be address. So NetSuite creates these models and views. Sorry, Backbone.js manages these models and views to show you the content. So the structure of Backbone.js structures the HTML and JavaScript, so it creates all these building blocks that make the whole application, which is then easier to manage than to clutter the code with JavaScript and jQuery functions that are all very linear. So these little models and controllers communicate with each other and show you the content in real time. Okay. So let's start looking at the actual application itself. So let's see what the components are. So the first component is essentially enabling the feature, a SuiteScript feature for this whole application to work. The second part is the actual SSP application record. That's what you need. SSP application record is in your NetSuite when you do the bundle installation. So NetSuite installs the record, installs all the relevant scripts, and you're actually able to see and deploy SSP application records. So these are the first two components. The third component are the actual file structure that are within your NetSuite. These are all the files that you can modify and customize, deploy, edit, and redeploy. Okay. The fourth component is the API. Okay, Commerce API. These are the set of functions that can be accessed and used to communicate with NetSuite's Commerce API. Okay, so let's dig in. Let's start actually working with the reference checkout, and we'll start by actually looking at the site builder without a checkout, a reference checkout, and the site builder with a reference checkout, and then we'll go through all the steps from installation to deployment and setup, and later customization. So I'm going to show you my screen. Okay, so we're in NetSuite. And this is a demo site that we use. So essentially what I want to show you first the areas that we'll be customizing. First, let's go into my account. So to be able to see my account area, I would have to log in. But as you can see, the login area is very different from what we'll see later when we deploy a reference checkout. Okay. And this is my account area. It's very simple. The code is a bit passé. It's old, and it's been 5, 7, 8 years that it's been created. So there was a need for something better and more robust, and something that we can customize. We can still customize this code, but it's very difficult to do it. So essentially, as you can see, it's very not robust. It communicates directly with NetSuite. It shows you what you see in the UI. So there were a lot of complaints with customers with the inability to actually control and customize this area. So NetSuite created the reference implementations and reference checkout and login component of it, also the My Account area, and they will continue to develop these applications. And as you will see later, this has improved drastically the look, the feel, and the speed of the cart section, the checkout section, and the login section as well. Okay. So let's actually look at the installation. So normally the installation would be under customization, Suite bundle, create bundle. You will actually, in order to install reference checkout, you will have to go to, sorry, one second, search and install bundles. Okay, you would type in reference, and these bundles will show up here. So essentially what we have, type in checkout. So here's the latest version 2.2. I will click on it. And here I can actually do the installation. Since I already installed the bundle, I will show you how to deploy it instead of installing. However, it's very simple. You would install, and then you would see it run in the background. If you go to the list, and you will see it run here. So when completed, the status will change to green, and what will happen, a new installation will be added to your file cabinet. So it would be under website hosting files, live hosting files, SSP applications. As you can see, I've installed two reference implementations. One is called checkout, the other one is called my account. Right now we'll take a look at the checkout, reference checkout. So there are two folders that are installed with the first initial install, the reference checkout and the custom checkout. The application makes sure that all the necessary files are in both folders. Should you decide to delete this folder, you would most definitely break the application. Okay, so you have to be very careful, and when you start, actually you should test a lot of these things. But if at any point you just break the application, it's very easy to go back, uninstall, and reinstall back the reference checkout using the same steps that I showed you earlier. Okay. Now, so most of the code and most of these SSP files, as you see them here, are located in a reference checkout. Every time you want to copy, every time you want to actually do customizations, you would typically take these folders and these files and copy them to the custom checkout. So what I normally do is I take, let's say, I click on this button, copy files. I take a file and I copy it to a folder. There's too many files, but you kind of have to get used to this. So you would typically drop the file right here. So same path, but the custom checkout. So you will copy, for example, this index SSP to your custom checkout. And then this file would appear in a custom checkout. Now this is the only way to do this and the only right way to do this. And then what you can do is you can go in a custom checkout, you can go to this file, edit the information, and make your modifications to it. So you would normally copy this, paste it into your editor. Could be Notepad or Notepad++, and you would then change the code. Okay. All right. So this is where the files are. So let's go back. This is where all the files are located. Let's now see how we can deploy and what needs to be taken into consideration when you do the deployments of the reference checkout. So let's go into Setup, Site Builder, SSP applications. Typically when you start, you will see reference checkout, reference checkout, and a custom checkout. Okay. You will also see this precedence column. Okay. In the precedence column, you always have custom checkout first and a reference checkout second, which means that the custom checkout is always looked by the application for all the code modifications and customizations of your style sheets, of your templates, etc. But you can change the precedence at any time. You may also decide to create multiple custom checkouts and name them differently. For each of these instances of custom checkouts, you will need to create an additional SSP application. Okay, so let me show you how to do that. You will click on this button here. You would give it a name, let's say FMT Custom Checkout, ID, which can be anything. And you will also have to put a URL that will be displayed in a web browser. Okay, you will need to add all the libraries. You would essentially copy whatever was set up in a reference checkout, and then you would have to set up the touch points. So let me show you how I did that here in this custom checkout. Let's click on Edit. So essentially what I did is I set up the application folder where my physical folder is located. I used the URL root. You can change this, you can have anything you want. I copied the libraries that are added from or inside the reference checkout, and then I created touch points. So these are the touch points that we'll be looking at. So proceed to checkout, login, view card, register. These are actual physical buttons or links on our website, and when we click on them and when this application is deployed, it takes us to this URL. Okay, to these SSP applications that show the data and show the information that we need to see. Okay, so essentially when you set up this environment, you will click on Save and Deploy to Site. So I'm going to choose our website and I'm going to deploy it. If I go back into my SSP application record, I will actually see the touch points. Okay, and these are the actual new URLs that are now deployed on my website. And to be able to see whether these touch points were properly deployed, I can do an additional verification, and I can do that by going to Setup, Site Builder, Setup Website. Moving to the touch point section, and then seeing all these, verifying that all these links are there. So this tells me that the SSP application reference checkout was deployed to my website. Okay, so now I'll go back on my website and I will log out first. I will clear the cache just in case. And I will click on the login section. As you can see, the look is completely different. This is the actual reference checkout application that we deployed. We just deployed. Okay. So let's type in my dummy user and let's log in so that we can actually see the application itself. Now, when I log in, I'll actually be forwarded to the My Account area. In the My Account area, you'll see that we still have an old looking My Account area, but our login was different. If I click on the card, you'll see that the card is different as well. So this is a completely new look, and we can, as I said before, we can change anything here. So we can change the styling, we can add additional information, we can change the behavior of this card. Everything is customizable. Okay, there's quite a bit of a learning curve to master the code, but everything is customizable and in reach. Okay. Unlike with the old site builder application for the checkout. So all right, so let me go ahead and deploy also the My Account area so that you can see the difference between the two. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to click on list of my SSP applications. I will go to my reference My Account area, and I will deploy this to site. I will go and verify to make sure. Yes, so it was deployed. I will go back to the website and I will refresh, and I will click on My Account area as well. Okay, so as you can see, it's very different. We have this left navigation now. Everything is structured correctly. We have our order history, we have our receipts, we have billing information, we have our settings. We can modify and edit our profile. It's a way better, it's much better looking application, and it's faster, way faster. Okay, we can also look at our order details, etc. So essentially, this is the My Account area, and we'll go back to the My Account area. We'll browse through it. I'll show you we'll have a little walkthrough. But before that, I will start digging into the code, and I want to focus a little bit more on a reference checkout. So let's go into the items. Okay. And let's click on Proceed to Checkout button. Now these are the different, as you can see, the reference checkout has different steps. So here we'll first enter the shipping information. Then when we click Continue, we'll go into the payment area. In the shipping information, first we'll set what freight forwarder we want to use for shipment. We'll continue, and then we'll go into the payment area where we can actually say what type of payment we want to process for our order. Okay, and as you can see, it's very modular. It goes from one area to another. Notice that index at the top, this is the application that you're actually using. This is the page. It's called Index SSP. And so we can edit the address, and this is the look and the screen that will pop up. Now you can change every part of this setup, and you can change the fields, and then you can change the templates, the macros, and you can change the actual code that communicates back with the application. So the templates and the macros that I just mentioned, we'll take a look at them right now, and we'll actually start customizing slightly the application. So let's start with the simplest example, where we'll be actually customizing the CSS. So one of the things I wanted to show you is how to customize these buttons, change their color. Something very simple to do. So let's go back and take a look at our files. Okay. So essentially, as I said before, everything that you'll be customizing is located under the custom checkout section. So as you can see, there are a few folders. One is called CSS, and the other one is called skins. So I'll click on the CSS one first. So you can see this is the CSS folder contains the combiner configuration file, which then points to different style sheets that control the look and feel of the SSP applications. Okay. So the actual CSS is not located in this folder. It will be located under the skin section. Okay. And it would be under the standard folder. Okay. So this is Style Site Builder is the actual CSS that controls the look and feel of your application. If I look at the SSP application itself, so if I look at the SSP file itself, if I click on Login and open it up, so as you can see, at the header section, it points to Skin Standard Style CSS. This is where you can actually find to which CSS your application is pointing. Okay, and we also have this file here, stylebuilder.css. Okay, so we typically what we'll do is we'll take the CSS file that I showed you earlier. Okay, we'll click on Edit, and we can copy this into our notepad. Now what I did is let's see first what the actual classes and what the IDs are for us to be able to change this information. So let's go into the website, click on Login. Obviously, it would be helpful to have a Firebug in our application. For instance, here in Firefox, we have a Firebug. In Chrome, we have another inspection tool that we can use. But I like to use Firebug in Firefox. So I will click here on the checkout button. Okay, and I actually want to change the color of this button. So I want to see what is the class and what is the ID of this element, so that I can change, so I can restyle it in my style sheet. Okay, so let's do this one more time. So let's see. So the ID that we're looking for is really the selector that we're looking for is main BTN primary. So we're gonna take that and we're gonna look that in our style sheet. We're gonna look for that in our style sheet. So I opened it actually. Let me do this in Notepad++. So what I'll do, so this is the area that we will need to change. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll go to the bottom. Actually, let me see. 1 second. I think I have the wrong file. Let's go here. So this is the actual file. And I actually commented out my modifications. So just before today's meeting, actually I'm going to change the BTM primary with this information here. So yeah, let's find that. It's not that easy to find with all this data. Ah, there it is. Okay. So I'm going to move this code. And on this line, and I'll replace it with a new code. So as you can see, I changed the color, I changed the background color, etc. And also I changed the hover information as well. So I'll Control-C this. I will paste it back into my style sheet. Okay. And then I will refresh my page. As you can see, we've changed the style for the button. Okay, this is a very, very simple customization. Let's see if we can add additional information to this login page. So I want to add some information about FMT, so right on the login page. So I will show you how to do that today. We need to be able to actually find templates. And one trick for finding templates that relate to this layout is to actually use the Firebug and the inspector tools. So essentially, if I click right here, I see some comments, and these comments usually help developers understand and point out where and know where these snippets of code are located within the system, within the file system. Okay, and if you take a look at this, we can see that this page uses the template login register TMPL. Okay, and we'll take a look at these two. So we have, let's take a look at the templates. So this is our template area, and everything related to the login page will conveniently be located in the folder called Login Register. Okay. The particular one that we saw earlier is a template called is located in a returning customer area. So it would be right here in the login register. Okay. So I'll open it up so we can see the code. So this is essentially the code that we can see. So the templates essentially are a mix of HTML and SSP syntax that gets rendered with NetSuite's Commerce API engine, and it gets displayed on the screen. So essentially, they contain the HTML data, and they can contain JavaScript code as well, and they also communicate with macros that further add more dynamic functionality to the screen. Okay, so let's take a look at this example here. So the one So login register, so let's open that up. And let's add our new code. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to add some new code to my page. So this is just HTML that I'm adding. I'm going to add it right here. I'm going to save. So I located my template. I added the code. I saved it. I go back into sign in and register, refresh. And look at that. We have our new information here. It's not very well aligned. We probably need to restructure it a little bit and move it around so that it doesn't break the layout. But yes, you can definitely add code and add HTML to your page. So if I click here, I'll go to another page. So you can customize every single one of these screens in this fashion. In addition, you can customize macros. You can add additional fields that directly communicate with the application and copy the data into customer record fields or transaction related fields, etc. All right, we don't have too much time. I had some other customization and plan for you, but we will have to move on to the actual walkthrough through the My Account area. And we'll have some. I'm sure we'll have some questions as well. So let's spend a little bit more time in the account area, and then let me just show you something before we continue. So I made these modifications, but I can erase everything that I made very quickly. So if there's something you don't like, you modify the file beyond repair, you can always actually copy files from your reference checkout back into your custom checkout. So any of these templates can be redone and recopied back from the reference checkout. What's important to note though, that every template must contain tags. Okay, so let's go into address template. See, every template contains these tags. Okay, so every time you move templates from your reference checkout to your custom checkout, you have to ensure that all the tags are there, otherwise the application will not work. So that's really important to note. Okay, let's spend a little bit of time in the checkout area. I'll log in. Again, we're brought to the My Account screen. I'll order a couple of these items. I'll order one of these items. I'm going to add them. I'm going to go back and continue shopping. Actually, I was in their item. Let's do something else. So 2 of these. Okay. So we'll review the items. Essentially, we then go into the checkout. Now, if we had a little bit of time, I probably will do a blog on this. I would show you that there's a way for you to change the steps, and there's also a way for you to present all of the information on one page. It's as simple as just commenting out code, and it's essentially you can change steps, you can change the information you require the customer to enter. So it's very, very, very flexible. So I will continue. As I showed you before, I will choose the shipping method. I will use invoicing as a payment method. We'll continue. And these payment methods are stored on a customer record in NetSuite. Okay, and they can also be defaulted in websites or web store setup. Okay, so once I've completed the order, I will review it and I will place the order. Okay, if I'm satisfied, I can print this page and I can just continue shopping as well. So every piece of this page is essentially a template or a template linked to a macro. Okay, let's go into My Account area briefly before we finish the session. Any information that will change here affects NetSuite Customer Record Live. Okay, so if I change my profile information, let's say I change my phone number, I put 619, I update it, that information will be changed instantaneously in NetSuite. So let's take a look at that. As you can see, the number has changed. So that's the benefit of the unified business solution and having a site builder within your NetSuite, is that communication is right there, and there's no need for any type of integration. Everything is kind of built into the SuiteCommerce application. Now the communication with the records, communication with different lists, etc., everything is built in, and you don't have to worry about it. So I mean, you can also set up your email preferences. You can sign up to different you can subscribe to different marketing campaigns. So you can choose to get, you know, product updates. Let's say I can subscribe to newsletters, and I can choose to get product updates. So I'll update my record. So this updates directly NetSuite. So if I go back and I refresh, and go to the marketing area, I will see that I'm subscribed to the product updates. So you can see subscribe, yes, product updates. Okay. I can add different credit cards to the application. I can change addresses. I can see all of my orders. I can see my order history. It's a very neat application, and it has improved considerably. And NetSuite continues to improve reference implementations. I think at this point I will stop the session because there's too many topics that I would like to discuss to you, but there's also lack of time. I will take some questions. Though before I leave. So Paul, did you find any questions in our queue?
Hi, Ilya. Yep, we have 2 questions in the queue. The first one is, what is the procedure for upgrading the reference checkout? Can the first beta version be upgraded?
Unfortunately, for the second part of the question, unfortunately, the first beta version cannot be upgraded. It needs to be uninstalled, and a new installation of that Suite App bundle needs to be installed. There's no way to upgrade that beta version because it's obsolete. The architecture has changed completely and considerably, so unfortunately you can still save a lot of the templates and template customizations down on the templates and SSP files, but it's very difficult to do a clean upgrade from beta version to current 2.02 version. Okay. So the upgrade of anything over version 2 so far works well. So I don't know if that will change, but the upgrade is possible, but not of the beta version.
Okay. The second question that we have was, can we build our own SSP applications?
Yes, definitely. We can definitely build our own SSP applications. We kind of have to leverage the models that currently exist in Site Builder for any additional support of and access to a Commerce API. We may need a SuiteCommerce Advanced type of module. But very simple SSP applications can be built even within Site Builder. There would be you can build SSP pages. You can add your custom code. You can even leverage Backbone architecture as well, Backbone.js architecture as well. It really depends on how successful you are and how good you are as a developer.
All right, that's all we have in the queue for today.
Thank you very much.